Welcome back! How time flies, video 4 in our business studies series already. Now, location, location, location. When we're choosing a home, one of the most important factors we consider is location. Countryside, town, or city. Is it close to shops, schools, or transport links? Close to family and friends? We could go on. Well, for businesses, they have just as many factors to consider when deciding on their location too. So where should a business locate? Online only? In a high street? Retail park? Out-of-town office? The options are huge. So how do they choose? We love lists in business studies, so let's pause the video now and make a list of the factors that a business needs to consider and so will influence their location decision. Have you noticed that lots of car sales locate close together? Or large food restaurant chains are beside each other in shopping centers? For me, it's our seaside ice cream vans. They park right beside each other. But why? It isn't because they're good friends. Maybe, but let's try to look at the official reasons why. First of all, proximity to the market. Second, proximity to labor. Third, proximity to materials. Fourth, proximity to competitors. And 5, nature of business activity. Firstly, proximity is just a fancy word to say how close we are. This is easy to see when we think about services. Cafes, banks, shops. If they aren't close to their customers, then they won't have any sales. This is generally the case, so being in a high street, retail park, or close to hotels, etc. is probably the best option. There will always be an exception though. Some cafes might actually be further away, but use this as a USP. Yep, a unique selling point. Maybe the cafe is outside of town, but they sell this as a relaxing or away from the hustle and bustle or with free parking. With manufacturers, they might want to be close to their customers so that they can reduce their transport costs and make it quick and easy to supply to their customers. Now, does a business need a very large amount of employees? Or do they need employees with a specific type of skill? If this is the case, then they will need to think carefully about where they locate, and not just city or town, but which country. Many businesses will relocate to countries like Mexico or India because labor is relatively cheap, whereas large tech companies might locate in Silicon Valley or finance companies in London, where they know they can access the employees with the specific skills that they require. What does the business need to produce its products? For some businesses, this will be small quantities of easily transportable raw materials, whereas for others it could be very large and relatively immobile products. If this is the case, then it might actually be easier for the business to move to the raw materials rather than try to transport them. For example, nuclear power stations might be close to water sources, so on the coast. Many smaller service businesses would rather be away from close competition. If I was opening a cafe or beauty parlor, I would definitely not want to locate close to other beauticians. But for some, like my example with car garages, they are likely to do just the opposite. Crazy? No. In products like cars or even holiday consumers actually like to compare products, so by locating close together, they allow customers to do just that and hopefully win a customer they might otherwise have missed out on. They could also benefit from any excess demand. So if store number 1 is very busy, I might go next door and end up finding the perfect holiday. The nature of business. Services, office-based, manufacturing, agricultural, all these things impact location. And hold on, there's one very large location that we haven't mentioned. Did you notice? You're right, where are we now? Online. The internet has changed how we shop, and so it's changed how businesses, or some businesses at least, locate. I only have to walk down my local high street to see this impact. First, it was the odd retailer. Now it's fashion, banks, travel agents, insurance agents, investment advice, and even mortgage advice. Some have tried to go physical premises and online. However, post-COVID, even some of those have succumbed. The call of national and international sales is often too much compared with small local branch businesses. As businesses become more and more reliant on the internet than ever, even that can be a deciding factor. Connections and speed. I definitely wouldn't be running a business from my garage. The internet speed is slow, I can't even stream my Netflix. Finally, we would be wrong to miss out on the impact of law on location. Planning permission is an easy way to restrict the overdevelopment of areas that might lead to congestion. There might even be incentives for businesses to locate in areas of high unemployment, where there's low tax and the low rate. Like we have already mentioned, there are always exceptions to the rules, but as long as you can consider the type of business when making your choice and give a reason for your choice, then you can answer any question. So, is there a right or wrong location? If we go back to the opening example of picking a house, well, it's a personal choice. If given a list, we could easily choose a different house, and for every individual business, they will have their own criteria to consider, and therefore more than one location could be successful. In fact, depending on the business, owners, marketing, etc., any location could end up being a right location. So that's our location lowdown. See what we did there? I'm Swarna with MVA, and I hope this has been helpful.